Hello, this is Mesos Aurum, and welcome to S.F.M.L tutorials. Today, we'll be constructing a HealthBar class. First, we'll make our .h file. HealthBar. And then our C++ file. Also called HealthBar. In our C++ file, we will sharp include our healthbar.h, and then we will go to our healthbar.h. Here we will sharp include our SFML /graphics.h++. We will also construct our class as usual. We will say class healthbar, and we will inherit from public SF rectangle shape with the usual private and public. For our constructor, we will say healthbar and take in an int of health and an SF vector 2f of our window size. Then we'll make a deconstructor of healthbar. For our window size, we'll set it to a default of 640.0f by 360.0f. Up here we will declare the healthbar size, so we'll say SF vector 2f health size. We will also make a background of our healthbar, so we will say SF rectangle shape background. We will need to initialize our background, so we will say void init background. In the end, we will need to update our healthbar, so down here we say void update health, and inside we will say int health. Finally, we will need to render our healthbar, so we will say void render, and inside we say SF render window and window. Now we will define these very quickly. And clean this all up. In our constructor, our health size .x will equal our window size .x divided by 640.0f, and our health size .y will equal our window size .y divided by 20.0f. We will set the fill color, this set fill color, as SF color and red. We will set the size of the health bar as set size and float health by health size .y. Then we will set the origin as the geometric center, set origin as this get geometric center. We're going to set the health bar's position to the top center of the screen, so we will say this set position as window size .x divided by 2.0f by our health size .y. At the end of our constructor, we will just initialize our background. Make that smaller and then go up here. We'll make our health bar's background slightly transparent, so we will say background.set fill color as 255 by 0 by 0 by 128. We will set the background size as the same size as the health bar. So we'll say background.set size as this .get size. We'll also set the origin of the background the same as the health bar. So we will say background.set origin as the geometric center. Then we will set the position of the background as the same as the health bar. So background.set position as this .get position. Scrolling down to give us more room, we don't need anything in our deconstructor. Going to update health. For here, I'm just going to copy this, paste it. Then I'm going to multiply here by health size .x. In the off chance that the health bar goes into the negatives, we will just make an if statement. We will say this get size .x is less than 0.0f. Then we will say this set size 0 by 0. and fix it at the end here. Finally, we'll render both our background and health bar. We will say window.draw and background. Then we will say window.draw star this. Next, we will save and go into SpaceRocks.h. We will sharp include our HealthBar.h. Here we will call our HealthBar class HealthBar star HealthBar. Below score, we will declare our health. We'll say int health. Now we will scroll down to give us a bit of room. Go down here. We will first say void init health, then void init health bar. And inside of there, we will say SF vector 2f window size. Now we will define both of these. We will set our health to be 100. Health equals 100. In init health bar, we will say health bar equals new health bar with the input of health and window size. Scrolling down to give us room in the SpaceRocks constructor, we will go up here. We will say init health as well as init health bar with the input of window size. In our deconstructor, we will just delete our health bar, delete our health bar. Scrolling down to give us more room, we're going to make an if statement to check whether our health is greater than 0. If health greater than 0, and then encapsulate all of these inside of that. That means if our health is less than or equal to 0, none of these will update. For our health bar, we will just say update here. So health bar dot update health, and inside we will just input our health. At the end of render, we will render our health bar dot render, and inside we will just input the window. Now we will save everything. Now we can reopen our rocks.h and rocks.c++ file going into rocks.h. We're going to scroll down. We're going to add on to our update in the rocks.h file. We'll first say entity and ship. We're going to add on to our update in the rocks.h file. First entity and ship. Then pellets and pellets, followed by standard uint 16t and score. Lastly, int and health. We must remember to include the pellets.h file, sharp include pellets.h. Now we can scroll down, copy all this, save, and go into the rocks.c++ file, scroll down a lot, and then paste all of that here. Scrolling down to our for loop, we're going to need a lot of room. Enter, enter. Now we can finally check if our ship is colliding with a rock. We will say ship.getGlobalBounds, and then find intersection. Inside of here, we will say rocks.addI, getGlobalBounds. Noticing here I have a spelling error. I'm going to rename that to GlobalBounds. We will say health minus equals rocks.addI get entity size .x. Then we will delete a rock, add I, before breaking. Below that, we'll make a for loop for our pellets, for unsigned, int j equals 0, j is less than pellets, dot get pellets, dot size, plus plus j. For our next if statement, we can just copy all of this and say if pellets dot get pellets dot add j dot get global bounds, find intersection, rocks at I, get global bounds. Sorry, this should be an arrow. Going down here. We will increase our score by 16. Score plus equals 16. We will delete this specific pellet. Delete pellets dot get pellets dot add j. Then we'll erase this pellet in the vector. We will say pellets dot get pellets dot erase pellets dot get pellets dot begin plus j. Now for our rocks, we're going to say if rocks dot add I dot get entity size dot x is less than 10.0f, then we will delete the rock at I before breaking. Otherwise, we're going to split our rock in two. First, we will say rocks dot add I dot set entity size as rocks dot add I dot get entity size divided by 2.0f. Now, to make it seem as if our rocks are really splitting in two, we will say spawn rock rocks dot add I dot get position, and we're going to copy all of this, put it over here, then say dot get entity size, and lastly we will say window size. Then we will make sure that the rock being spawned is the same color as this rock, so we will say rocks dot add rocks dot size -1 dot set color rocks dot add I dot get color before finally breaking. Finally, let's save everything. Going back to SpaceRocks.c++, going over here, we will say ship pellets score and health before redoing that. I found an error in the code going down in the entity class. Here, this should be this get position. Now we can save, head back to SpaceRocks, then we can debug. Now finally, we can see that there are meteors on screen. We can blast them, or we can get hit by them. And it will decrease our health. Thank you for joining me today. If you did, then please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great day.